probably doesn't have 300-400 miles on it, because the car don't have but 600 from the last time that I seen it, and they drove it home. And that's after I rebuilt the motor, and then it went to a shop and they fixed the intake on it because it had a little intake leak, and someone hot rodded the motor and they broke a piston. So you can see they put all brand new pistons in this motor. Looks like the motor's been shot peened. So the bottom end, everything in this car is brand new, in this motor is brand new. Well, so after saying that I wasn't going to take this motor apart, that everything looked good, rule of thumb, never trust anybody else's work. I started to, I got the gasket kit, I was going to start putting this thing back together, and I grabbed up the lifters because normally I put them in oil before I put them back in, and I noticed one of the lifters trashed out. And let me show you. This is a lifter, and it's got a big dish to it, which I'll show you a close up here of both of them. This is what a good one looks like, and this is what one, give you a contrast of how much that ashtray bellied out. See, that's nice and flat, and you can see how that one dipped out. All that metal inside the motor. But it was ate up, and it took the cam out. So I've got the motor, I just went ahead and took the motor apart, but it ate, let me see if I can find it right here. This lobe right here, it ate it up. Get in here without getting it too blurry or nothing, but that cam right there lobe, should have that nice high point, it's all rounded off. It ate it up. So all that metal ended up inside the motor. And unfortunately, it goes through everything. A filter can only catch so much. It starts going through all your bearings. And if you can look, you can see all that brass in there. It should be nice, shiny aluminum looking. It shouldn't be down to that brass. And it's got all them little lines in it. Well, all them lines has now transferred to the crank. So as you can see, all those lines go into that crank, and it feels rough across there. So that crank would have to be turned. Unfortunately, this crank's been turned 10, 20, so I can't take it no farther. At least I don't want to take it any farther. So we're replacing the crank and the camshaft. Under further investigation going through this motor, I got to looking, and this cam right in here has a casting number. And on that casting number, it's a 540 233, and when we pull up the paperwork on that, it says that this cam is out of a 283 60 or 289 no, I'm sorry, a 389 or something like it. It's a Pontiac motor. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it doesn't belong in a 455. So, and it's come out of a 62 to 63 model something. And so this is not even the right cam that goes in here. So the guys that redone this motor, because this motor was all original when I done it the first time, matching numbers. The block, I had to go check. The block does match the car. The heads are the one that's supposed to be on there. But somewhere along the line, someone stole the cam out of this car when they rebuilt it and put this crappy one in here. And I wouldn't doubt that's the reason this can got wiped out. For one, it don't belong in this car. Two, it was probably already had something wrong with it or bad, and they throwed it in here and screwed this guy. So never trust anybody else's work, even though it looks good when you tear it down. They beat the cam bearings. They also messed up the timing chain, the timing. You'll see on some of these that I've got, some of these videos. As you can see, someone got kind of wild with a hammer. Why anybody would beat on a cam like that's beyond me. I can't even get this gear to come off. I'll probably have to put a puller on it, or I'm just going to have to try to slide the cam out with the gear at the same time, and then I don't know, I may have to get new gear. To get that cam out, they took, for some reason, this is where the gear, here, let me get this camera set. To get the cam out, this is where the gear slides on, and this sticks out past the gear just a little bit because the piece goes on there. Well, somebody decided we need to take a hammer and beat the shit out of the end of this cam, and they beat it so bad that the gear wouldn't come off. I had to grind the end of that cam off. You can see how far I had to grind. I had to grind some of the gear to get that cam to come off. Another piece that I found when I took the windage tray off, this is the tube. This is the oil tube that goes in here and comes up and sends the oil dipstick back there. I mean, look at that. They put a wrench on it and they kinked it to bend it. Why anybody? I mean, all this was together. They take it apart, it should go right back together. I don't know why someone has to do all that. That's just unheard of. So at this point, we've ordered a crank. We've ordered a new cam, a set of rocker arms, lifters, all new bearings, cam bearings, and I'm going to have to take this block off the stand and shoot all these oil galleys out, clean this thing up, because it probably has some of that little metal still in there. You put a brand new motor back together, so it's got to be all cleaned, and because we don't want that happening. So we'll take care of this part. The stuff should come in about a week. The only thing that's going to hold me up is once I get the crank in, I got to take the crank, the pistons, down to a machine shop and let them balance it, because you just can't throw these pistons on this crank without it being balanced. And to do that, they're going to have to press these pistons off. And they told me sometimes when you press pistons off, they break. So there could be a chance that if we break one of these brand new pistons, may have to buy a piston set. I'm crossing my fingers, hoping they can get them all off without breaking them. We'll see. But it might be almost a month to get all this done, so I don't know how long it's going to hold me up. But we got some other stuff that we can do. I got the yellow car out there that I got to do some body work on it, so I'm going to be probably transferring over to it. Maybe move this out, I don't know. I might leave the car in here cause I like to get this thing finished up and done. I still have the vintage air coming in. It should be here any time too, so I could also do a lot of that on the inside of the car and stuff. So there's a lot of things, and I'm going to do a good video on the vintage air, and because for one, when I called vintage air, they have nothing in their archives to where anybody has ever done a Grand Prix. They don't make a kit for this Grand Prix, so this is all custom going to be putting in. So I'm going to make a video, so if anybody else down the road is going to put a vintage air in there, we'll be able to do that also. We'll have a video. You go on YouTube, it's going to be a video all by itself, how to put the vintage air in there. Even though I got this tore apart, as I put it back together, I'll put clips of the video in. But hopefully everything's going to work out. We'll see.